everyone, we're heading to the bivouac. So I was going to go to the other side, but the forestry guys have now built a gate, so we can't go that way. So I'm going around the other way, the gate that I'm allowed to go through. So this is where we're at right now, and we are going down the road here. It is raining really, really hard. So we're going to have a fairly good time here. Let me just turn on the, there we go, getting a little foggy. Okay, so yeah, so it should work out pretty good. I figured out the problem with the new GoPro, which is what I'm using right now. It was on wind mode, which is standard, I guess, for when you are a default that's on when you buy the thing. So every time it felt that it was moving, it would turn this wind mode on and shut down my voice. So I figured that out, which is good. And so we should be pretty good. We're going to be going down this road. It's Billy that we're going with the all roundabout way, so I got to go completely around to the bivouac and then go there. We're going to stay overnight. I got some steaks and some beer and see what the bivouac's like. I haven't been there since the beginning of the summer, so we'll see how good that goes. I'm just going to put my seatbelt on because that constant buzzing is driving me crazy. There we go. And yeah, we'll go from there. It's really, really raining, so we're going to experience a fairly large amount of rain at the bivouac, which, as you guys know, I love. And so this should be, I haven't gone this way all the way around the road to the bivouac before, so we'll see if this rather large Ram truck can handle the road. It should be okay. Hopefully it doesn't get too narrow. And we're just passing the campsite. I don't know if you guys remember, we were camping here a little while ago, and that's the campsite right there. So we're heading to virgin territory now. The road is rather narrow, but I think we're going to be fine. Sides of the truck is definitely getting beaten up. Nothing like indoctrinating a nice new Ram truck on the sides of the vehicle. Sorry about the bouncing around, but the road is fairly rough. Assuming it's this way, we can go this way, or we can go this way, and this is towards the bivouac. Oh man, this is a horrible road. I don't know if you guys can see how bad this is. All right, let's just do it. I got it in 4-wheel drive now. There's a couple areas back there that I needed to get through. Okay, we are almost there. Sorry. A bit of an incline here with some very large rocks. Park right here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think right here is good. Got a major boulder there, mind you. Let's see. here's a good spot right here. Yeah, this will work. I think I'll do it here. What do you guys think? Definitely entertaining coming up that road. Some pretty good ruts. I'm glad I have a good truck. No worse for wear. All right, I'll come back to you as soon as I'm. Okay, so road's here, and I've parked the truck beside the road so somebody can come by if they need to without any issue. And I think I'm good. Now I traveled all that way around just because, I don't know if you guys can see, but right there is the gate, and literally I would have had to drive this far to park the truck, and consequently, because that darn gate is there, I had to go all the way around. So fun. Don't you just love lumber companies? Okay, I have everything on. Your typical pack that I normally carry with the Canadian combat jacket. It's waterproof, so, and so is the hat. I got the a 12 gauge shotgun as usual. It's loaded but not cocked. I'm trying out these new gaiters because it's going to be really wet going through the forest, and of course the Carhartts aren't waterproof. I haven't waterproofed them yet. I was going to, but I totally forgot. So I'm going to try that out and see how they are. And yeah, I got kind of a cool item I want to show you tonight, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So just going down this is the road I just came up with the truck, and it is, I don't know if you can see it's really quite, you can't really see it. I don't think the 3D effect doesn't really play it justice, but it's definitely some interesting driving. So okay, well, I'll see you back at the bivouac. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. Check out how overgrown the path is from not being here all summer. You can barely see, you can see the path, but not really well. Okay, well, so in case any of you are wondering why when I go to the bivouac I have like a full pack, and you know, the combat jacket and the knee pads and now the gaiters and the knife and the rifle and stuff. One of the biggest reasons is practice. What fits with what? How comfortable is it? How much can I push the extremes of the abilities of the stuff until something doesn't work? And that's why. I mean, I know I could easily come here with like a kid's day pack from school with a couple of things. My sleeping bag and my pad, they're so small. I don't need a backpack really. You know, I don't need a lot of the stuff, but I'm dressed right now as if I could be in the woods for a very long amount of time, and I want to make sure everything fits together perfectly. That's one of the reasons why I do this. I'm well aware that, you know, it's not really necessary to have a couple of things that I have, but I'm comfortable. I feel like I have no weight on me whatsoever. When I have the GoPro down, I'll have the shotgun in my hands. So I mean, I could kneel down, I can do whatever I need to do, and there's no restriction whatsoever, and that's what I want. When I first started doing this, I'd have a heavy pack, the pants. You know, I didn't have the Carhartts. I didn't even have the Fjall Ravens. I had like jeans, and they got wet. Shoes were not waterproof. The pack, like I said, was huge. You know, and now a couple years later, I could literally run in this without too much issue. If I had the rifle, of course, in hand, without the pack moving, without it being too heavy. It's been boiled down to a point where doing all this stuff, practicing with all this equipment, has made it so that walking in the woods is now really, really simple. So that's why I carry the stuff that I carry and do the stuff that I do. Okay, so we're going over the stream, which is almost dry. There is some water over there, which is good because I didn't bring any. I just assumed there'd be water because it's been raining for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm very, very fortunate that there is because, like I said, I didn't bring any. Okay, bivouac is here. Everything looks great. I have lots of dry wood. Doesn't look like there's been any destruction. There has been an animal here. As you can see, everything's been moved. We do have a huge water bubble right there that I need to take care of. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. So I'm gonna kick off the packing. get situated, get rid of that huge water bubble, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so that's all repaired. There's a couple of areas around the edges that need to be tightened. There's definitely a large animal here. Could have been a massive raccoon or a bear. There was a garbage bag that, as far as I thought, had nothing in it, but there was the remnants of a package there, and it was torn to bits. It was able to, this is the toilet paper container for the bathroom area, and put a hole through there with obviously a claw. So I haven't seen any tracks at all because it's been so dry. There's really nothing around that I've seen. It'd be really neat if we could find some kind of a track so I knew exactly what it was. I've been kind of looking and there really is nothing. The ground is so hard here, but I'm going to be a little bit more on alert. I'm sure it was probably just a raccoon, but I'm going to be a little more on alert. Make sure I don't go too far away from the shotgun. I'm sure it's fine, but definitely an animal was in here, and put a hole actually in those mats that I leave here, those green mats. I leave these here for my bed, and there's a hole right there. You probably can't see it because it's too freaking dark, but anyway, so yeah, I'm just gonna be a little more cautious. I'm sure it's fine. It's too bad that that water bubble was there, because it's the exact spot where I would put my feet down when I go to bed. So I hopefully that dries up with the fire, because that would really suck if it doesn't. I have a sheet, not a sheet, but like a ground sheet, plastic ground sheet. I always put one down at the base of the bed so I can take my boots off, and anything that I have, it's on something dry, something other than on the ground. That's always a good idea to bring one of those. And you know, you can just use you know, those sheets you use for when you're painting. You get them at the dollar store, you know, those thin plastic ones. So yeah, it's about that. So everything's good to go now. The bivouac is in good shape. The augmentations that I made last time, bringing the edges out a little bit further, like right there, really stopped the rain from coming down and coming in. The only reason that is wet right there is because there was a bubble and it was dripping down for 3 days, so it's just wet right there. Unfortunately, a little bit on the bed as well, but I mean, that's just the way it is, right? You come to a camp that you've left for a while, you know there's going to be some repairs, some damage, some issues. So you know, I counted on that. It's not a big deal. Okay, I got everything pretty much unpacked. Usual sleep stuff. Got the pad, sleeping bag, pillow, wool blanket, and I use this as a pillow, of course, and we're gonna sleep on that. I was wearing the combat sweater and the jacket, and of course we have the shotgun. I have some hand warmers that I put in my socks when I go to sleep, because that's nice and warm. Extra pair of socks and a towel. I got an axe, illumination headlamp, and flashlight. I got the Schmog extra batteries, 1 plate. I've got a silky saw KFS set, knife, fork, and spoon set. Some spices for the steaks. Some bugs cream, which I don't think I'm going to need. There's nothing out here. 1 pot. Some creamer for my coffee, and my wonderful cup that my wife got me. A shoelace. I always carry a shoelace with me. I know I can use paracord, I get that. I'm sure I get a million comments if I hadn't have said that, but I always bring a shoelace with me, you know. Okay, so I have my kettle, and in the kettle, of course, I have what do I have in here? Oh, this is the drop sheet I was talking about. That goes in front of the sleep area. And then I have my coffee, sugar, and creamer, and a little bit of chicken bovril in case I feel like having that. I have my 3 Mount Bensons, my gloves so I can put my hand in the fire if I need to, and a couple of the all-in-one fire starters. I have my coffee filter that I can make the coffee with. A rudimentary first aid kit, everything I could need if I get a cut or something in my eye. I have an extra cloth. I have some soap pieces. I have my Grail, and that, my friends, is about it. I didn't bring a whole heck of a lot. There's no need. I'm going to be here one night. My pack was full, and the reason it was full because almost half of it was the wool blanket was actually inside. because it was raining and I didn't want it to get wet. I didn't feel like putting a cover over top of my backpack, which is waterproof. So actually half my backpack was the wool blanket, and of course the 3 Mount Bensons were also in my backpack. So all I was carrying in my backpack was this stuff here, just this, and a couple of sleep things. The sleeping bag and the pad actually go outside in that green container. So I wasn't actually carrying that much stuff. Yeah, about 25 pounds or so. I didn't carry any extra food with me this time. I just have the steak and some Bovril and some coffee. That's it for food. Normally I bring 2 or 3 extra days just in case something happens, but I'm literally, you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from the truck because I can drive right in, and I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna put the beer in what's left of the stream, and maybe I'm gonna get a fire going. It's raining pretty good. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you something kind of interesting. I'm collecting water from the thing here. I'm going to be boiling it. The water's coming down. But I just wanted to show you something. I don't know if it's going to be picked up here. I'll go really, really close and go like this. I don't know if you guys can see. There we are. You see all those things moving? Those are all insects. So you think the water might be clean just because there's a few cones or a little bit of brush on the tarp, but I'll move it around and see if I can get them moving. There we go. You can really see them moving now. So if I didn't know to boil this water, I'd be drinking, I'm assuming those are mosquitoes, but they could be all sorts of insects. And I'm going to be collecting the water and boiling it and then straining it, so it's going to be perfectly fine. But if I didn't know any better, and I think, okay, well, it's on my tarp, it's just a bunch of pine cones, get the water that looks clean and drink it, that can easily be a really bad idea. So that goes to prove that water that looks clean can definitely not be clean. I mean, those things are swimming in there good enough that I hope you guys saw it. But always boil your water. The Grail, I went to use it in the stream and the Grail failed. The water went up the top instead of through the filter. I was only able to get about a cup of water, so I'm gonna have to boil my water. I'm not sure why it failed. I'm pretty sure it's because I didn't change the filter. When I bring it home, I'll change the filter out and make sure everything's working fine. It's probably what the problem is, but I'm just gonna boil the water. So I just thought I'd show you guys that the insects swimming around in that water, that gives you a wake-up call about clean water. Okay, so I checked the Grail and it did not fail. I had the filter on wrong. There's a little click area it needs to go to, and it wasn't on that, and that's why it wasn't working. So not the Grail's fault, totally mine. Just wanted to let you guys know it's working fine. I filtered the water that I need to filter, filtered the water that I had up there. I don't need to boil water anymore, and I'm back to using the Grail. All's good. Well, we're gonna start a fire, and I just wanted to show you some of the prep in case you're new to the channel. Basically, I took about a 7-inch in diameter log and chopped them all up. This is about probably 2 6-foot pieces, and they were, you know, well, this is how round they were here. I'll show you. There's one left. So basically, this is the size here, and this is the diameter right here. So 2 of those yielded this much wood, which is plenty for the night. Actually, it's more than enough. I'll probably burn a higher fire just to, you know, just burn it, have fun. And then as I was cutting it, I got smaller pieces inadvertently while I was cutting it, and created these pieces right here. And just as I was sitting here, just kind of relaxing, watching or listening to the rain and stuff, I just grabbed some sticks and just started whittling, just for, you know, I didn't specifically try to make any feather sticks or anything. I just started whittling. Just, you know, I'm sitting here with my Mora, and just started whittling and stuff. And about 5 minutes later, I created a pile about that big, and they're kind of all over the place. But yeah, so I would say that, say I didn't have the bivouac here, and it was raining as hard as it is right now, my first priority would be what? Get a shelter up. Because no matter how much wood you have, if it's wet, you're not going to be able to start a very good fire. So putting up a shelter. A 10 by 12 tarp would be perfectly fine. And then you want to fell a dead standing around 6 or 7 inch in diameter coniferous tree. So not deciduous, not like an alder or anything like that. You want the coniferous, because it's got oils in it, and as the wood gets a little bit damp, it'll still light. So you got the tarp up, you cut your tree down, and then you bucket into 1 foot length, cut it in 4, cut it in 8, and then create your kindling, and you go from there. I obviously, I mean, you know, it's 2018. I obviously have a lighter that will light, you know, my instant fire starters, no problem whatsoever. But for today, I'm going to use the ferro rod and the fat wood, and we're going to start it in a traditional manner. Seeing as it's the first fire of the season, I'm going to start it as if I don't have any modern fire lighting tools. There's nothing wrong with starting a fire with a lighter. It's common sense. If you have a lighter, you start a fire with a lighter. Northwest Bushcraft, I mean, he's in Alaska, he's in the snow and stuff. He just starts his fires with his Bic lighter or his butane lighter, whatever he happens to have, and just starts it. It doesn't have to be a thing to start a fire. It's good to know how to do it with a ferro rod and using the inner part of a tree. So let's get this started, and we'll go from here. Okay, I'm just going to put you down. Just give me 1 sec. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get some fat wood going. That's plenty. Normally I do this on the rock, but I got the camera situated here, so I'm just gonna do it in this really awkward kind of way where it's kind of half going into the dirt, but that's okay. Not a big deal. We'll get her going. You'll notice no lack of small branches and that kind of stuff. And there we go. First fire of the season, started with the ferro rod and without any issue. So I'm going to get this sucker going, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so here's the end result. I just piled a bunch of wood up. I didn't do anything too crazy. You'll notice I have the metal rungs, so I can pile up really high and the stuff doesn't fall over. And yeah, we got a good fire going. Once that burns down a little bit, I'll start using the main pile, and we'll get a good fire going, no issues at all. It's pretty easy if you use the inside part of a coniferous tree. It's dry no matter how wet it is outside, and you can start a fire pretty much without any problem whatsoever. The important thing is get that tarp up first so you can work in dry conditions and not get your kindling and all that kind of stuff wet. That's common sense, right? Okay, fire's going, and as you can see, right there, Fire's looking good. It's now Mount Benson time. So here we are. We have a Mount Benson. Now, something I didn't take into consideration is I put all 3 of the bottles in the stream, which is standing water, and the necks of the bottles were all underwater. So there's a possibility of contamination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and then I have a alcohol towelette, and I'm going to wipe the rim just in case there's any parasites that I have to worry about. I didn't think of keeping the necks out. That was really stupid, but at least I have some alcohol to kill anything that needs to be killed. So thank goodness. I'm not sure what I would have done otherwise. So let's open this sucker up. And give this a good, it's pretty much dry on the bottom, so it won't like drip anywhere where my mouth's going to be. And I'm going to take the further precaution of pouring it into a glass. Oh, whoa. Well, guys, cheers. That's nice and cold. Keep the neck out of the water next time, but yeah. I'm going to relax and enjoy this, and talk to you in a bit. Alright, got the red seat, my name here. I put the green pad on as well, so that I can be nice and comfortable. This is my view. So I wanted to show you something really cool. Just give me 1 second. There are these Halloween glowing stones. Kind of cool. There's like 70 in a pack or something, and they glow. So I'm not sure what the Halloween purpose would be, but I thought for bushcrafting or hiking, these would be actually pretty handy. They collect the sunlight during the day, and then they glow all night. So if you are in the woods and you're in an area that's not familiar, and you need to find a place that, like say you're at a camp and you've got to find your latrine, it's really dark out, or a water hole, or a cache even, these would be great to leave on the ground. I'm going to show tonight. It's not very much light at night, obviously, but I'm going to show you tonight how they work. Now, hopefully they do work. I haven't tested them yet. You can make an arrow with one of these things, or with a bunch of these, and show your way in case you get lost. Or if you are lost, a rescue team would know what direction you went in. Say you left your crash site, plane, train, car, boat, whatever. They would know what direction you went in at night. Say you're walking along a trail. Remember that Lost in the Woods episode that I did, and the set of trails kept branching off, and by the time I got to my destination they had branched off like 30 times, and I needed GPS actually to find my way back because there were so many branches going back that I had no idea where I was. But if I had one of these rocks at every turn, and I knew it was a half an hour or so hike, I wait till twilight when these things start glowing, and I would be able to have made it out, taking the right turns each time. So I'm going to put these out this evening, and we're going to see how they work. They're $2.50. They're from Dollarama, our dollar store here in Nanaimo. I think Dollarama is pretty much Canada-wide. I don't know if it's in the United States or not, but they're selling these rocks. I bought 2 packages of these things. I thought it'd be really cool to have them, and be able to find direction, navigation, all sorts of fun stuff with these things. So I'm going to show you guys these when it gets a little bit darker. Yeah. Hey, I've been sitting here and just enjoying the fire. And when the fire starts getting low, instead of using my wood pile, I am just going out into the forest floor and grabbing a bunch of soaked pieces of wood and putting it on the fire. And as you can see, the fire, it's actually just a bunch of pieces of wood that I have on there. and the fire is hot enough that it's drying the wood and keeping it going. So I've not used any more than maybe half a dozen of the pieces of wood that I have for firewood. So that's something to think about. If you have the embers hot enough, you can use, as long as it's light out. Once it starts getting dark, of course you can't do that, and you want to start using the wood that you have. But while it's light out, there's so much wood on the forest floor, and although it's soaked, like literally dripping soaked, if your embers are hot enough, it will dry the wood out and keep your fire going. So you don't have to use the firewood for when it gets dark and have enough. Like I have enough anyway. I mean, one way or the other I would have had enough, but I wanted to see if I was to grab just a bunch of soaked wood, put it on the embers, if it would work. And it works great. Fire is nice and hot, no issues. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing that until it gets dark. Just wanted to show you guys, it's really raining hard right now. I don't know if you can hear it. I'll be quiet so you can hear it. It's raining pretty good. So I set this up. I got the kettle, and it's just dripping the rain, and it's filling up pretty good. So that's just some paracord, a carabiner, and the kettle. So, which is pretty good. I don't know how good this this GoPro 5 is with bad light. It says it has a ability to compensate for the light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this flashlight off just for a second. Let me shut down this music here. I'm going to shut down the light and see if it compensates. This is just for my own personal experiment here. Okay, so it's pretty dark, so let's see if it compensated. I'll know when I edit it. And I just wanted to show you that kettle thing, so I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Well, it is really raining now. The rain on the tarp is really loud. The amount of rain coming down is absolutely amazing. And, you know, with a couple of tarps and a good fire going, there's no suffering whatsoever. I'm dry, I'm warm. The fire is going really good, as you can see. It's all going good. It's kind of funny actually, because there was a conversation through YouTube with Fun on Vancouver Island, and he was saying he can't wait until the fire ban is over and this actually starts happening. And those of us on Vancouver Island, we look forward to doing bushcraft in the fall, winter, and spring. And the summertime is it's too dry for us. And I kind of wonder, with the Alone Show, you got all these guys from Arizona and those dry areas, and they're trying to survive, and a lot of them tap out because it rains too much. And I wonder how well VI Prepper and Fun on Vancouver Island, myself, Trevor, all these guys that are from Vancouver Island, how well we would do up northern Vancouver Island in this kind of weather, and we're just kind of sitting here going, this is awesome. And all these other guys are tapping out because they're all, you know, tired and wet, and we know how to do this. This is normal for us. It cannot rain any harder. Like, it is literally raining so hard. If I was to go out of the shelter right now, I would be soaked. And I'm happy. The fire's going, I'm warm, it's all good. And you know, kudos to those of us on Vancouver Island, those that I mentioned, VI Prepper, Fun on Vancouver Island, Trevor, and myself, and a couple of the others of my subscribers who are from Vancouver Island, or from Vancouver, or, you know, in Washington, northern Washington, Northwest Primate. He knows what this weather's like. We all just love this. This is not a thing for us. It's not a problem to survive. So I wonder how well we would all do. You know, as a competition, us 5 or 6 guys against those guys who are like professional bushcrafters from like Arizona and dry areas that have never seen this, because this, to us, this is nothing. Yeah, this is great. It could not rain anymore, I'm telling you. It's like, it's pissing out here. Talk to you guys. Okay, it's steak time. I got some ribeyes going on. I'll just show you guys. There we go. Got some good old ribeyes happening here. And I got garlic powder and seasoned salt ready to go. And we'll just chuck these on the old fire. Alright. I'll be right back. Alright. Good old ribeye going on. Look at that. That's gonna be awesome. Alright. Let's cook that up and be back with you in a minute. Okay, we have supper. There it is. Some awesome steaks. All right, let's see what this tastes like. All right. That's really good. There's nothing like meat cooked over a fire. All right, leave it with me. I'm going to finish this off and I'll talk to you guys later. Well guys, it is dark. It is really raining, and I'm going to watch a little bit of Star Trek Voyager. I got a couple of episodes downloaded. I'm doing the whole series right now, and then I'm going to go to bed. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Barring any weird thing going on in the middle of the night, I'll let you guys know, of course, if something happens. And I will see you tomorrow morning if nothing happens. Okay, I remembered that I was supposed to do the glowing rock thing. So I put them out and they don't work. It's dark and I turn all the lights out and there's absolutely no glowing whatsoever. A slight glow, but nothing you could ever use for survival or navigation. So there we go. Don't use those. They don't work. There we go. Good morning, everyone. It is around 6 o'clock or so, and it's still raining. Not as much now. It's just coming off the trees mostly. It's raining, but not a whole heck of a lot. Rained really hard last night. I slept really well. I have a bag that is filling up with water here. I just have it hooked right here, you can see, and I got the bag almost full of water, and that's ready to go for my grill when I need it. And I'm just about to start a fire, and I wanted to show you guys a couple things. I'm not sure what the lighting is like, but hopefully it's pretty good. I'm just going to swing you around. Give me 1 second. Just hooking up my lamp to my cap. Now I've cut a bunch of this wood to little strips like this. So I started off with these guys, and then I went down to this size, and then I went down to this size. And what I'm doing now is I'm processing this stuff into this. And one of the great characteristics of coniferous trees is when you split these, they split really long and really straight. But another great characteristic is if you break it, the end piece with your hand just a little bit, you can actually create your own feather sticks just by doing this. And you can literally use your hands and split the wood just like that. And you can continue to process it and get small pieces. And you can see these are very, very thin, easy to grab a spark. And you can just break them down. Very, very simple to do. Just takes a couple of minutes. You can see how nice and small these, and they stay in long pieces because of the very nature of the grain. And you can see you get some really nice small pieces that you don't have to use a knife for. And this allows me to start the fire. Now, this morning I'm going to start the fire with my fire starter, which is Gorilla Tape. And in here I have fat wood, wax, and all sorts of little mismatched pieces that I had from my workbench that I just kind of put in a bucket and then light it up. And this actually lights really, really well. I use these lighters from the dollar store now because they have a really good windproof flame. And you can see this Gorilla Tape lights no problem whatsoever. And we'll just put this in here. And we'll take this pile of sticks that I just finished doing and put them right there. I'm not being overly careful as to where I'm putting them. It's not really important. This wood, I'm using the heartwood of the rather large pieces, so it allows me to, you know, in even weather like this, start a fire really, really easy. So I just wanted to show you how breaking those apart was really simple, and how just doing it by hand at the end gives you really small pieces. You can just be sitting in your chair and just kind of play at it for a bit and just end up with a huge amount of feather sticks, feathers, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, and yeah, this is going to work pretty good. It's going to light the fire starter underneath will just stay lit no matter what, and it'll just start these pieces of wood on fire without any issue really whatsoever, and it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that'll be the end of that, and I can put the larger pieces on and we got the fire going. So it's a nice easy way to start a fire, nice and relaxed, there's no hurry, and it's a way of getting the fire going nice and quick. There we go, she's going good. So now I'm going to add these guys to the fire, and we're just going to crisscross on top, just like so. Nice and simple. And that's just the next step. And the crisscrossing allows for main surface being covered with the fire, and allows the fire to build way quicker than if you did a teepee type of a structure. All right, so I'm making some coffee, and I'm almost done. I thought maybe I'd just show you what I'm doing, because I'm doing a little bit different, nothing too crazy. But so what I did is I boiled the water in the kettle, and then when I finished boiling the water in the kettle, I put it in this cup right here and in this cup, making sure that both of them are now sterile. And then once the water was in there, I put the coffee on here, and I'm filtering it back into the kettle. And then I'm going to use the cream and the sugar and make the entire thing of coffee in there, and then keep it on the fire, so I have 5 or 6 cups of coffee always hot on the kettle, because it's cooler outside, and the coffee won't be hot for long if I don't do that. So just a little bit better way of doing it. I'm trying to make the lighting a little bit better. Hopefully I'm doing good for you guys. This way the kettle I can put on the fire, keep it hot, and I can have my my coffee as I want. And I have the double-walled cup that my wife gave me. It doesn't cool down, so once the coffee's in there, I can drink it at my leisure and have a hot cup of coffee for the next couple hours, which is pretty cool when you're out in the woods roughing it, right? Well, I guess that's pretty much it, eh, guys? The camping trip was actually pretty nice. I just love when it's raining. Like I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll be quiet for a second. Like it's raining actually pretty good, but the canopy is keeping most of the water off, which is kind of nice. I can stand out here without any problem whatsoever. The stream, as you can see now, is almost ready to start pouring. That was not full of water yesterday. There's only a little bit right there, and now it's filled. So this stream will be filled. This will be flowing probably in the next day or two. So I don't think I have to worry about water anymore. Bringing any water in or whatever. Just make sure I have the grail. Make sure the grail is actually put together properly. The water bag, it's actually pretty full right now. It's got a fair amount of water in it. I don't know, what's that, about 3 or 4 liters. And I just got it up with a carabiner, and it's just dripping. And it's just slowly filling up. Now, if I wanted to fill it up faster, I could put a second carabiner here. And instead of having the handles together, they would be apart, and it would fill a lot quicker. And I can utilize this water for, well, pretty much anything. And I would just pour it out of this spout area right here. So I would just grab it from the bottom and then just pour out what I need, and just have pretty much unlimited water. I could have one of these pretty much on every corner of the bivouac, and I would have unlimited water as long as it's raining, of course, which at this point on Vancouver Island, it is now mid-September, somewhere around there, and it's going to be raining now till next May. So pretty much rain every single day. It's just the way it is on Vancouver Island. We're used to it. We like it. It's just the way it is. The glowing rocks, huge failure. I thought for sure we'd be able to use those for trail marking and that kind of thing, but when I took them out of the package, and they were in the light all day, took them out of the package at night, put them on the ground, and almost nothing. I mean, you'd be hard stretched anyway to find these rocks if you needed to in a survival situation. They're useless, so I'm not going to use those, obviously, but you don't know unless you try, right? So I'm going to pack up. There's a fair amount of breakdown to do. I'm going to do that and put the side back on the bivouac, so it keeps this area here dry. The amount of wood that I have left is, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces, and I won't be leaving for another hour or so, so I'll probably use up most of those. Maybe I'll save 1 or 2 for kindling for next time, but not that big of a deal. The fire is actually doing well just with the big pieces now. The kettle is keeping the coffee warm. I've been drinking coffee for the last hour or so, and nice and hot, piping hot, no issues at all. That's definitely the way to do it. I think I'll do it like that from now on. Have it all made, all in the kettle, and just pour it as I need it, as opposed to making it every single time. So, well, that's about it, guys. I'll talk to you later. You have a great day. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're at almost 700 now, I think. No. Yeah, 700. And yeah, it would be so cool if we get to 1,000. It's just a matter of time. I mean, you know. Tell everybody about the channel, subscribe, share, and like, and I'll talk to you guys next time on Vancouver Island Bushcraft.